In a lot of ways, rocks are a really dumb material to use to make a chair. The only good reasons to do this are that rocks can be really cheap, and they're one of the materials that stands up really well to the elements if you leave them outside. So this chair looks like it's something out of the Flintstones, but the good news is, the materials only cost me $12. I've been getting granite boulders from a friend that has an excavation company. This rather elongated boulder weighs about 300 pounds, and I started by cutting a flat surface so they can stand up and serve as the backrest. I typically do all of my stone work just with a simple angle grinder, which is an affordable tool that is so versatile. But as my stone projects have gotten more popular, I decided to see if a bigger saw like this break saw could justify its cost by saving a lot of time. It's called a break saw because it has two blades, and you can break out these chips between the blades, which allows the whole double-bladed saw head to sink down into this inch-wide crack, and I can cut rocks about 30 inches in diameter. This is a pretty incredible tool, but it costs about $2,000 and the blades are really expensive. So if you're just a hobbyist when it comes to working with rocks, I definitely recommend going with the angle grinder. That being said, this cut's really flat and the surface is smooth enough that no additional finishing is needed. My designer friend Nick Baker was in town, and he's been obsessed with doing rock chairs for a while, and so he drew the outline of where he wanted these curved cuts into the stones so that they would make a nice seat. I got my angle grinder out with a tile cutting blade, we're just talking all Home Depot level stuff, and just cut along the lines. I also made some additional cuts which will allow me to use a hammer and chisel to remove a lot of stone. This is a pretty easy way to quickly carve stone in 3 dimensions. Is you make cuts that are about 1.5 to 2 inches deep, then you just chip them out. You can use the break saw here, but it's not that much faster in these carving applications, and given how expensive it is to replace the blades, I really think this thing should be reserved for when you need to make a really straight and flat cut. I focus on the backrest first. One, this is the heavier stone, and I want to get as much weight out of it as possible. I also thought that the stone for the seat was a little on the small side, so I felt like if I could carve a partial seat into the backrest stone, I could then line up the seat stone and have the contours roughly match. What I like about angle grinders here is that they're an inexpensive tool, the blades are inexpensive, and you can shape stone pretty fast. A hammer drill that has a hammer only setting also works really good after you do a whole bunch of cut lines with the angle grinder. So after I rough out the surface with the tile cutting blade, I switched to one of these grinding blades that allows me to get flat and smooth finishes. I'll put links to these in the description section below. Now, one of my resolutions for 2026 is to use more of my scrap pieces of material. These cut-off ends have a nice flat surface, so I thought I'd see if I could weld up a steel base for them. And this was an excellent chance to try out my new work shirts from the sponsor of this video, Poncho. I really like their denim Western style shirts. They're heavy duty enough to provide protection to my forearms from metal shavings and sparks, but they don't encumber any of my range of motion, which is what is really annoying about a lot of workwear. The Matamoros is the shirt that I keep in the shop to throw on whenever I got some grinding to do, and the Western style snaps are convenient and efficient for quick turnarounds. I also got the Fort Davis, which I really like for its classic Americana vibes. I like that the poncho shirts are practical and rugged enough for my work, but refined and fitted enough for going out afterwards. You can get $10 off your first poncho order when you enter your email at the link in the description or by using this QR code here. So definitely check out Poncho. I really like these Western denim shirts, but they got some other options with different fabrics at different weights that would be appropriate for different climates and different times of the year, so worth checking out. Alright, I didn't have a fully worked out plan for the base of this little rock table, but I did have some scrap pieces of angle and flat bar, and I just sort of welded them together into a cross shape, and this kind of reminded me of a variation of the famous Mies van der Rohe architectural columns from way back in the day. But this wasn't hard to do, I just had to kind of figure out ways to hide the welds so that they're not all visible, because my weldings are, well, mediocre at best. This is such a fun style of making because it's so low pressure. I'm using scrap, don't really have like a specific design idea in mind. I just know that if I do this project, I'll have less junk sitting around my shop. For the last piece of this cruciform shape though, I had to do plug welding. I haven't really done this before, but basically just drill holes so that you can weld inside those holes, and you weld them up flush and then grind it so you can't really see the welded beads along the outside edges. And it came out pretty good. This was also my first time trying out this new brand of blades from Mad Dog. They work pretty good, but what's really interesting is that they have a lifetime warranty. And as someone that's cutting a lot of really stubborn materials from rock and steel, well, lifetime warranty sounds like a great way to save some money over the long period of time. I may want to powder coat the steel later, so I don't want it to be epoxied or glued to the rock. So that means I have to cut pretty deep into it to create a recess that'll hold it stable. So, it's not the biggest piece of rock, but it would be pretty heavy if it tipped over and fell on your foot. It's also crazy that you can cut both rock and steel with the same blade that's covered by this lifetime warranty. It only took about 15 to 20 minutes to cut this cross-faced recess out of the stone, but I switched to a core drill bit to really flatten out the bottom and round the corners a little bit. You see, angle steel has a little bit of a radius to the inside corners, and the core bit was perfect for just knocking down those perfectly 90-degree angles. It took a little back and forth between grinding the stone and grinding the steel to get everything nice and stable without, epoxies and stuff like that, but not too difficult to do. I don't love the way it looks. Something about the perfectly rectilinear nature of the base and the kind of teardrop curves of the rock just don't work for me, but it's not bad. I think it's a useful piece. Definitely could see it on like my concrete patio or something like that. And it was a good chance to try out plug welding and make a little desert homage to Mies van der Rohe. I'm continually surprised at how fast these aluminum grinding wheels work, and they last a really long time, making them a pretty great investment if you plan on working with stone. I thought it looked pretty good, and the surfaces certainly were nice and smooth, but after sitting in it, I thought that I just want to cut a little bit more out of the backrest, even if I had to go a little bit lower on the seat. I kind of like the brake saw here for this particular set of cuts, because the radius of the saw blades was about what I wanted for the curved part at the bottom of the backrest. I chipped out all these pieces using my hammer drill, then ground everything smooth again. Even though these rocks are pretty stable, I don't want someone leaning back really hard or rocking back and forth and tipping over this tall backrest stone. So I got a 3/8 inch steel rod, and I got my blacksmith on by heating it up with a torch and then pounding it out so it has some flat ends. This is just like a very simple, primitive way of doing blacksmithing, and I'm just trying to get a flat part on the end of this round rod so it's easy to drill a hole into, so I can link these two stones together. So I got it all reasonably flat, and then I put it into a vise so I could cut the flat part with my angle grinder. This is pretty easy to do, and I'm just using a big thick iron plate as an anvil, although a real anvil would be a lot more effective. And really the only part that took a while was just keeping the metal hot, but once it was hot, it wasn't that hard to flatten it out with a basic little sledgehammer. I drilled some holes in either end, and then ground everything nice and smooth. Now I can drill holes using my angle grinder with a core drill, stick in one of these steel components, and then use a Sharpie to mark where my hole in the other rock is going. I over drilled these holes, meaning that the hole is quite a bit bigger than the piece of steel going inside. And that's because I know I'm just not going to be perfectly accurate here, and what I want to do is create some wiggle room that'll get filled in with anchoring epoxy. The holes in the flat ends of the steel are about 1/4 inch, and I'm just going to use a steel rod to keep this chair held together. So some of the anchoring epoxy will ooze out of these holes, so I put a little blue painter's tape down just to keep the surface of the rock that's right underneath the holes nice and clean. I squirted this Quikrete anchoring epoxy deep into the holes, and then put a little bit more onto the steel ends as well. Now I can try to line everything up and stick the steel rods in place while the anchoring epoxy cures. This worked really well, although I did have to use a hammer and chisel to scrape away a little bit of the excess epoxy. Now I can heat up and bend the steel rod to make a pin that drops right into the holes. This allows me to anchor the two rocks to each other and make this stone chair a little bit more safe. A chair made out of rocks still seems a little bit dumb, but dumb in kind of a friendly, silly, fun way. This chair is perfect for my sister Jessie and is going to go to her house, which she's still in the process of remodeling. And the one practical part is that rock does really well in the hot desert sun, and it's a fairly light colored rock. It's got enough thermal mass that it's not going to get too hot. Is this a practical way to create seating for a lot of people? No. But as an indestructible chair that can resist sun and water damage, well, kind of perfect for a front porch. Be sure to check out some of my other videos, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks. Bye.